I don't know if I was going to summarize it's that's a first for me personally to play, last day of Brier and kind of go through the motions. So I guess if I was to summarize it, that's a new experience for me. Hopefully I don't have to do that again too soon. Yeah, I mean, you come in thinking that you'll kind of catch magic, kind of, your expectations are that you're going to play well and be able to kind of, everything's going to align very quickly. And but we can't be too hard on ourselves. It's just not quite there right now. And some of the things we worked really hard to achieve as a team, to have a really well-rounded game, have they've kind of just faded a little bit, and we've just got some work to get it back. But silver lining is it's really easy to identify what we're what came quickly for us, what we're very good at. So there's lots of positives there, and like I said, it helps us identify a couple of things that we can work on as a team to get back, and I think we'll our performances will come up very quickly in the fall when we get that opportunity.
Yeah, Derek and I will both be staying in the bubble, so we'll be in the hotel, probably playing golf in the hallway, little mini putt.
There's like a Brier league, right?
Yeah, we're really fortunate to be in the bubble. We feel safe. The protocols are great. But yeah, and we got to prepare for another event. So it's I guess we start next Thursday. So I got a few days in the hotel. We got some sunshine coming, so I'll be sitting on the balcony. So if any fans are driving by the hotel and want to wave, Derek and I will be sitting up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of sacrifice from everybody involved, like from the organizational side of it, from the athletes sacrificing for all of us to be here, our families, extra due diligence, everybody's test, all the tests have come back negative, so everybody's done what they needed to do. And so this was a great opportunity to do this. And yeah, it's just too bad it didn't go a little bit longer for us, but it's nice that we could hit the ice in March.
I think back before we even came to the Brier, our goal was to come here and execute our shots, and play with these teams that are here, and tried to not worry about who we're playing and just make our shots. And that was the same as today. We just want to go out and play a good game, especially after this morning. We didn't really play really well this morning. Mike did play well, so we just wanted to end on a good note.
I think that we're doing a fairly good job communicating during the week. Like during some of those losses, we got a little bit quiet and we could see it out there. And once we picked up our communication and started talking a little bit more, we could see things coming together a little bit more.
Like I said earlier, we just wanted to go out and play our best and see what would happen. I don't think we kind of let that spoiler thing be a part of how we played our game. I think we just wanted to go out and do our best and see what happened. First, obviously, especially in this year when our family and friends couldn't be here in person to watch, we were getting lots of text messages and stuff, hey, are you going to be on TV? Are they going to show any of your games? And definitely, we have lots of fans and friends back home that were watching. It would have been real nice if they could have seen us play a game down here. But there's only so many spots, and all the teams, all the games, there's every draw, there were multiple games that were, there was something on the line. So it's one of those ones that's real tough. I don't think that you can just up and say, oh, this is the schedule for the week. I think you have to kind of follow the storyline of what's going on.
Like, it's always nice to have games on TV, but it's also nice to be winning games when you're on TV. And there's a lot of great teams out here, so there's always going to be a really good matchup between two big names on almost every draw. And we were hoping that we could win a couple games early to put ourselves in that conversation and maybe get a game on TV, but we'll be fine.
Our goal is, our first goal was to make it to the second round. Our next goal is to make it to the third round. And so we're going to go out there and keep doing what we're doing. The boys are putting in 110% on the ice. They're making a ton of shots. And I don't know if you saw that into that game, but Timmer and Dave went end to end on Scott's last one, which turned out to be the winning shot. So you know what? It's kudos to the sweepers.
Yeah, you know what? The ice just got a little flat out there that game, so it got a little hard to move the broom. But you know, we'll be fine. We'll be ready to go tomorrow, and just keep putting it all on the line out there. Is that a trick question?
I hate to tell you this, in 2013, I was actually in half decent shape compared to today. You know, we were making a run for Briers, Olympic trials, all that stuff, and we worked to be ready all the time. Here I am, I came in literally on 5 weeks practice after not curling for 5 years. It's the exact opposite of everything that should be happening. The goal is to go out there and make shots, read the ice. The ice is tricky. So, you know, maybe a little bit of experience helps, and trying to read the ice, get the broom in the right spot for the boys, because I know they're going to throw the right weight at me, and they seem to be making a ton of shots ahead. So I just help them out a little bit. You know, it's the tutelage of Russ Howard and Glenn Howard over 100 years. Literally played a million games. And if you're out there with them and you pay attention and you're playing against the Ed Wernicks of the world, the Ed Lukowicz's, the Kevin Martins, the Al Hackners, these guys are unbelievable players. So, you know, the first half of my career, I just stood around and kept my eyes open and watched what they did and learned so much from those guys. And, you know, I hate to say it, but it's paying off.
You know what? We come in here expecting to win. I don't think we've exceeded expectations. I think, you know, sometimes people take us for granted a little bit, but, you know, we're the type of team that is always in a game. We never let it get out of hand and just try and give ourselves a shot for the win. So, you know, with ice being tricky, we're keeping it simple and just staying in games.
You know, and Curl Canada, I think it's great that they're trying different formats. I think that's kudos to them. Nobody knows what's right or what's wrong. You see all the same issues we had in the past. I see them out there again, but I do think they're making some positive strides in the right direction. But as long as they're willing to change and willing to try new things, I think that can only be good for the sport of curling.
Yeah, and to add on that too, like if you look at wild card 2 and 3, they're both at the top of the standings. So, you know, without that expanded field, you know, like you could be missing on two top teams, right? So
when there is a miss on the ice and you really want to swear, but you can't because you're on live television, how do you keep it in? How do you keep that frustration in without it boiling over?
Well, Tim's let a few go, unfortunately. But again, I've been lucky enough to do this for 30 years. And you know what? Most of the time I'm able to keep it in, and respect for my fellow players, respect for the audience, respect for the TV viewership. After 30 years of doing it, I should be okay. And you know what? I also have 2 daughters at home, and I think of them watching the coverage and what I'd want them to hear their dad say.
It's a tough situation to be in when you don't quite have enough time to really take the time to make sure it's the right shot, make sure the broom's in the right spot. You're kind of rushing down the sheet to go throw it. That said, I had thrown a couple right up the middle. I was pretty confident. I think it was the only shot out there. Not really sure. But yeah, definitely props to Darren for nailing the line call on that one. We just ran into a situation, you know, stuff happens in a week like this and needed a little bit of ice maintenance, and that just took a little longer than we were expecting. So, you know, it's tough because you get up for these games, you're kind of rolling, feeling good. We definitely felt like we played a great first half. And then especially midway through the end to have to stop like that was a little bit tricky, but you know, the guys rebounded well. I thought we played a great last 3-4 ends, and those are the hard games to win. It's easy to win when you're playing well. It's hard to win when there's a little bit of adversity, and I think we battled through great tonight. In a week like this, you can't afford to give away any losses. A loss today is just as bad as a loss tomorrow or a loss on Saturday. So definitely getting the win in your column is huge. I think in that game too, you know, we battled so hard in the last kind of hour and a half, 2 hours there. Just emotionally, it was a big shot in a big moment, and we definitely could tell that we wanted it.
Something that you don't expect, and we said going into this that stuff would happen that we didn't expect. There was no intent on it. It was not an intentional thing. It just was a situation that arose and there was some adversity. Skipper led us really well. Things were slipping away a little bit. He just said to me, we're not losing, not tonight. And when he did that, it kind of got me back into a good mindset. And I just wanted to make a big shot for our team. And I think it was more like making my last shot, finally nailing a line call, doing a couple things right at the end of the game to get us a win meant a lot to our team. And that's what that was.
In the moment, it all happens pretty fast. I think after what happened, we all looked at each other and said, you know, are we going to play the rest of the game in these conditions, or should we try and maybe have a little bit of ice maintenance? It's a huge game for us. I mean, every game at the Brier is huge. So the decision was made, you know, we're going to put the time in, even if it takes a little bit extra, try and get the conditions as good as we could. And the guys did a great job, honestly, for the rest of the game. I couldn't tell once after that spot had been repaired, it was repaired, didn't notice it for the rest of the game. So that's definitely props off to the ice makers. I thought they did an awesome job. And props off to our team too. I mean, that's tough. That's not easy. It felt, you know, it's just tough. You know, you get up for these games, you put so much effort in, and then to have to sit like that is definitely tricky, but handled it well. And I'm really proud of the guys for that.
I've been there before, so be pretty hypocritical for me to hold ill will. It's not really against anyone. It's just a challenge to deal with. And our team, we put a lot of effort in, and it's a really important game for us. So no, like there was a conversation, and there's no ill will anywhere. It wasn't even an intentional act. It was unlucky, if you ask me. Just people whack their brooms on the ice all the time, and the head flipped on them and did a little bit of damage. But I've done it a whole bunch, and there's other guys who've done it, and they just don't pay that price that he had to pay. So I don't think it's a huge deal, really.
Yeah, you know, a week like this, we want to win. I mean, there's no two ways about it. We care a lot. We put a lot into this sport. We get to the Brier and we want to play our absolute best. And I think we throw every shot trying to make it perfect. And there are times where you just don't. You get tricked, you miss, all sorts of reasons why you miss shots. And in those moments, you kind of got to compartmentalize, you know, move on to the next one. But occasionally, you know, there's a little bit of emotion there, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, we all just care a lot. That's where it's coming from. And it's just a part of the game like it is in any other sport.
Over my curling career, I've had trouble with that, especially when I was younger. And I broke my broom in the Olympic trials, and it was pretty embarrassing. And I'm not a bad guy, so it's just people get emotional. Steve wants to win out there. People want to win, and I've done it. I can't count how many times I've whacked my broom, and sometimes you get away with it and no one notices. And I think it was just he got way more than what he deserved. It was a way bigger deal than it ever should have been. And yeah, it's hard to control, but the last few years I've been able to rein it in a little bit. But if you ask any curler, they've probably all had their bad moments out there.